Now, the Duchess of Edinburgh has become the first royal to travel to Ukraine since Russia's invasion in 2022.
Yeah, she was representing the King, and at a time when the royals are looking especially pared back, it's Sophie's visit. We're asking, is it a sign of her growing prominence? And I think actually she has got the royal blessing from King Charles on this one. We're going to go to Kinsey Schofield on all of this for the answers. What do you think of Sophie of Edinburgh? You know, how has she accounted for herself? How's she coming across? And has she been anointed by Charles?
Well, first of all, I just want to confirm that I'm your favorite Schofield, because that was alarming to me to see that Kevin Schofield was also appearing on the program.
Well, it's an awful name for me, believe me. You know.
Amen.
What do you mean? Don't want to associate it with that name. Right,
Amen. All right. Well,
never even think of
that
you like that. You're just Kinsey to me.
That's wonderful.
Excuse me.
I think Sophie has been coined the royal family's secret weapon as of late. Her path was not the easiest one, but she's living proof that patience is a virtue. And if you work hard and stay focused, your time to shine will come. You know, she was under immediate scrutiny when she hit the scene because she was a self-made career woman, a young woman who was incredibly successful. She was a commoner. And, you know, she looked so similar to Princess Diana when she was younger. So they were constantly pit against each other when it came to beauty and fashion. You know, she tried and failed the half in, half out route, but unlike, you know, who, she ultimately chose the family. And despite some of that chaos, she was rewarded for her loyalty. So absolutely, I think that the King very much believes in the Duchess of Edinburgh, is so grateful for her contribution. And we saw real leadership with her today.
Interesting, Kinsey, to see that she actually bumped the Prince and Princess of Wales off the front of some of the newspapers this morning. She made it onto the front of the Telegraph, whereas it was the brand new picture that we haven't seen to mark their wedding anniversary that's made it onto the front of the Times. And I suppose that shows, you know, how significant that visit is and how prominent she's becoming.
I mean, the late Queen's favorite daughter-in-law, also meeting with President Zelensky. And during her surprise stop, she spoke to survivors of sexual violence and torture and heard from children who'd been returned to Ukraine after being separated from their families. And when she met with President Zelensky, she gave him a private note from the King, and they discussed how to support these survivors of sexual assault and conflicts. I know some people might criticize this move as political, but this was without a doubt a very courageous visit from Sophie. There are no guarantees in the middle of war. And it does just tell you how much faith His Majesty has in his sister-in-law.
I find it fascinating that you've got Sophie. I know Sophie. I used to work with her over 30 years ago. But somebody who's not a royal by birth, like Catherine Middleton, and they do such good jobs. They've really adapted to the roles that have been put before them.
I think that they understood the assignment. I mean, I think that these are two people that respect the monarchy, grew up in families that admired the family and understood what the ultimate objective was, and that is to serve. That is serving others. And when you prioritize other people and you realize that the job is bigger than yourself, I think that you can create wonderful opportunities and, elevate some of these charities and change the world, make the world a better place. And these are two women between Sophie and Catherine that are absolutely doing that.
I suppose Meghan Markle, she could have been doing that as well, but that's a whole different ball game. It is funny, it is strange when you look at Catherine, when you look at Sophie, and you look at Meghan Markle's attempt. Well, she didn't attempt to integrate into the royal family. I think that's the whole problem, wasn't it?
And Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, was very loving towards Meghan, attempted to have a relationship with her. The Queen actually suggested that the two get together and that Sophie mentor Meghan. And Meghan said, "I've got Harry," and she rejected that offer. I would love to be mentored by Sophie if she's watching between meeting with foreign presidents. Like I'll send you my phone number. I think that's a great opportunity. But no, I think that she was a great role model, and it was a missed opportunity for Meghan to learn how to navigate a difficult situation.
And speaking of Meghan, she's not going to be accompanying her husband to London next week. He's going to be doing a reading at the St Paul's Cathedral Invictus commemoration. I think it's 10-year anniversary, isn't it? But she will be meeting him in Nigeria, and it turns out she's 45% Nigerian.
It's 43,
43.
But I also would argue that if you read Tom Bower's book Revenge, he does have a chapter on the fact that she told Elle magazine that she had Maltese heritage so she could get a free trip to Malta, and then didn't actually execute the peace because they found out she did not have any of that heritage. So I don't, with Meghan Markle, she's a chameleon. You never know who she's trying to impress. So I hope that she has a great trip. But I never know what she's saying. I never know if I should take it with a grain of salt or not.
Kinsey, we all like to think we're a bit exotic or have very exciting genealogy or whatever. On this very programme, we had a genealogist who, did he look at you?
I refuse to give my DNA to anyone. I always think you get set up for murder for that sort of thing.
Well, it depends if you've murdered anyone or not, doesn't it?
No,
but, it turns out, have murdered no one. Not only that, when they looked at my genealogy, there's nothing interesting about it at all. I am 101% Irish, born and bred. Nothing, no contamination, nothing from outside at all. Irish.
Well, so
Irish.
much so, Kinsey, that the genealogist came on the programme and said they'd never found anyone as purebred. It would almost be identified to 3 streets in Belfast that
they did.
Your family,
they did. There was one other
1%
person.
or something.
No, there was one other person, that red-headed...
Conan O'Brien.
Yes, Conan O'Brien, the very man. Well
Yes.
done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There you
it was
go.
me and
Look,
Conan O'Brien. Two magnificent chat
bigwigs.
show hosts.
There we go.
That's right.
We are. Kinsey, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much indeed for your contributions.
Our favourite Schofield. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.